are just as worthy to be accepted as the Jew is.
Amen.
And Peter went down and went with the others, as the Lord had admonished him. And when he got there, he found the room full of folks. And Peter said, it's a common thing that we're not to associate. He said, but God has showed me. God has showed me that what he has cleaned up, I don't have the authority to say it's unclean, nor is it common.
Amen.
But you know, church, if you don't die, your life will be manifested. Amen.
Amen.
And here was a situation whereas he was fearing the circumcision, and when the Jews came down, he would separate from the Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
And the other Jews dissembled likewise with
The other
him.
Jews, because Peter was one of the chief, they were being hypocritical also. Amen. Dissembling also. Read.
Insomuch that Barnabas also.
Barnabas. Now, you know that kind of got Paul upset, because Barnabas was one of Paul's right-hand men. Barnabas also was carried about with this dissimulation, which is hypocrisy. Amen. And what?
But when I saw that they walked not
But when
uprightly,
I saw that they walk not uprightly according to the what? Truth of the gospel, what happened?
I said unto you,
I said
unto Peter, before
where?
them all,
In front of all of them.
if thou being a Jew,
In front of all of them. Not behind his back or not off to the side, but because, you see, when you sin before all, you ought to be rebuked before all, that others might fear.
Amen.
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 How we doing, church?
Amen.
Listen, read.
If thou being a Jew,
He said, I said unto Peter before them all, if, Peter, thou being circumcised, living after the manner of the Gentiles, amen, read.
if thou being a Jew, liveth after the manner of Gentiles, and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? Man.
Why? Now, if you're going to live like the Gentiles, and when the Jews come down, you're going to separate and say that they're not worthy to sit with you, then why are you going to compel the Gentiles to be circumcised? Good question. Somebody hadn't died. Amen. Read.
We who are Jews by nature.
Listen now, Paul going to break it down to it. He said, we who are what?
Jews
by nature and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ. Even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we might be what? Justified by faith, read.
Of
Christ, and not by the works of the law.
Man.
How we doing?
Man.
See, Peter done jumped back into the law again. Amen. Done jump back into the law again. Listen to this. For by the works of the law, what?
Shall no flesh be
No
justified.
flesh. You cannot be justified according to circumcision, Peter. God manifested that unto you. He made it known unto you. He informed you that what I have cleaned, let no man call common or unclean. Amen.
Amen.
Read.
But if while we seek to be justified by
But
Christ,
if now, while we seek to be justified by Christ, we ourselves also are found what? Sinners. Question is what?
is therefore Christ the minister of sin? God forbid.
While you preaching and teaching, and you're found to be in an awkward position, is Christ therefore the minister of your awkward position? God forbid. If you are ministering unto others and your ministering is off in the far left-hand corner, is Christ therefore the minister of your left-hand corner thought? See, people have all kinds of misconceptions. Amen. Ministers have misconceptions. And they spread these misconceptions on into the congregation or those that will hear them. Look at what was happening with Barnabas, Paul's sidekick. He was following Peter, amen, into a distant, out of the way, far beyond capacity of redemption. That's why Peter had to stand, Paul had to stand strong and rebuke him to the face. Amen. Amen. Listen, read.
For if I build again the things which I destroy.
If now I build again, if I have counted something as being unworthy, if I have counted it to be unsafe, if I have counted it to be no good, and then I turn around and rebuild that again, then what?
I make myself a transgressor.
Amen. If you have left the Baptist religion and you have accepted holiness as your religion, you then count the Baptist as not being sufficient enough to get you into the kingdom of heaven. And one day you decided, I'm going to go back Baptist. You make yourself a transgressor.
Amen.
Because what you're doing is you're building that faith again. If you were unholy and you came to holiness, and then you decide you want to go back to unholiness, you make yourself a transgressor.
Amen.
Listen, let me read you something. Turn over to, I think it's Deuteronomy. Hold what you got. I want you to put your tanks on, blow your air out your snorkels, and make sure you got enough to survive for a little bit, because we're going to take you deep. Amen. We're going down a little bit now. And hanging around up on the top. See, that's the problem with a lot of folks. They swim around up on the top. They need to go deep. See, the true riches is deep. Amen. You don't find the true richness of the soil on the top. You got to dig down deep. Amen. How we doing, church? So y'all put your gear on, blow your air out, and make sure you set your timing for another 15, 20 minutes, because that's when we'll come back up. Amen. I don't want to drown nobody. Amen. And this is going to be a little deep for you, but if you bear with me, you can handle it. Amen. 24th chapter of Deuteronomy. First verse beginning. Says what?
When a man hath taken a wife,
and what?
And marries her,
and
it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes,
read,
because he hath found some uncleanness